Silence speaks 1,000 words.
In Kochi lived Mr. Vishwanath, a proud man whose heart beat only for his daughter, Kavya. After her mother's death, Kavya was raised like a princess, protected but never free. At 23, Kavya chose a poor but loving man, Arjun, and walked away. That evening they returned for a blessing. Her father opened the door. With one cold sentence, "Leave this house," he closed the door on her hope. They began their new life in a cramped Kochi alley, a single, leaking room full of love. They had each other, and their love turned small moments into treasures. Years passed. A daughter and son arrived, filling their tiny home with laughter. Birthdays were magical, with homemade cakes and toys built with love. But life was unpredictable. One day, Arjun's factory shut down. With no income, rent piled up, meals grew simpler, but the children never saw their fear. Kavya began tutoring, while Arjun delivered newspapers at dawn. Some nights there was only plain rice. Kavya would feed the kids and skip her own meal. One evening, Arjun broke down, crying like a child in Kavya's lap. "I'm failing you," he whispered. She replied, "We're rich in love. That's enough." Every day was a battle they fought quietly, together, with love. Kavya stitched curtains from old saris. Arjun made toys from wood scraps. Evenings were simple: dinner, lullabies, and stories under a dim light. Some nights they went hungry, but Kavya's stories kept hunger from speaking louder. Then Arjun came home. "Your father is gone," he said, his voice trembling. Kavya didn't cry. A cold, heavy silence filled the room. "He turned his back on me," she said. "Why should I cry now?" 3 days later, Arjun gave her an envelope. "You might hate me after this." She opened it. It was her father's handwriting, his words from beyond the grave. He had helped them secretly, paying their rent, fees, and finding Arjun a job. Her hands trembled. Every word was both a wound and a healing touch. He helped them live with dignity, letting them believe they stood on their own. Kavya finally cried, not from pain, but from the weight of his silent love. The next morning, she lit a lamp before his photo. "I forgive you, Appa," she whispered, and 1,000 unsaid words found peace. A lawyer arrived. Her father had left her the family home and a fund for her children. She stood in her childhood home again, not as a daughter, but as a woman full of grace. The walls that once felt like a cage now felt like a story of survival. Her children's laughter now filled the halls once ruled by silence. Kavya placed her father's photo on the wall, not from duty, but from love. She walked through each room, finally understanding his silence. In his study, nothing had changed. His books and pen waited for her. She picked up his pen, her fingers trembling, but her heart still. She sat in his chair, not for power, but to feel his presence and forgive. "I understand you now," she whispered, and the silence seemed to smile back. That night, she told her children of the grandfather who watched them from afar. She no longer feared his silence, knowing it was how he loved best. Years of anger melted into a moment of understanding. She read to her children, offering them freedom and warmth. The home, once silent, now bloomed with laughter and second chances.